Alrighty. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Scouting Ground set in the SDL Smite Draft League. My name is Zexous, and I'm joined by my co-caster, Kingfisher.
Yeah, really good to be coming here in the scouting games. We got another one coming up from the Divine Division. Wow, that's kind of hard to say quickly. We're going to have to get into that later. But before we go any further into picks and bans, we do have to caveat Game 1, we did not get the match ID, so unfortunately that one just went by the wayside, but it was a Game 1 win for Valentine's Day. They swept 27 kills to 12, so a pretty dominant showing. So we're going to have to see if Wargames are able to come from behind here and push us to map 3. But that being said, Zex, what do you think about these first few bans?
Pretty standard. From what I've seen so far, Ao Kwong has been a very strong jungler ever since Season 10 dropped. And did recently see a slight nerf, I think, was announced from him. I don't know if it's hit yet. I don't think so. But a very good first ban off of V-Day. And all-around ban, not too surprising as magical ADCs are in right now. So taking him off the map, especially with a massive ult like Sanctified Fields, is going to be huge come team fight phase.
Yeah, definitely. Probably a little bit of a target man too. Game 1, Hey 901 went 7-1 on the Ola run, so definitely want to get it out of their hands. And I think like you said, the Alkwong nerf, I believe the next patch is on the 21st, so not as of the time of filming, but Khepri is a really odd ban. I don't think we've seen that in a while. Kukolin's been getting played quite a bit in scouting grounds. I can't remember seeing much of the Beetle though. I'm not sure what I think about that ban.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen too much of Khepri myself as of late, but maybe just a fear. Maybe they're thinking they don't want to deal with the Scarab's blessing, or they're maybe looking for maybe an Achilles pick coming in and don't want to have to worry about that. But not entirely sure, as Kronos is going to be looked at first pick off of Valentine's Day, a very strong magical ADC. So
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much more to say about Kronos. He's definitely one of the best mage ADCs in the game right now. That was also piloted game 1, but it was by LuneyToons over on Wargames. Still did a pretty good performance. Top player damage. So we're going to see if Hey 901's able to do the same thing. And a Guan Yu pickup. I feel like Guan Yu's always one of those gods that just flies a little bit under the radar based on how good he really is, especially with the new breastplate of regrowth. He is a scary, scary solo laner.
definitely, he's safe. He's also really good at getting aggressive in those team fight ults. His dive is pretty fantastic for what you're looking for. A great opportunity, and then to top it all off, you're gonna get a Poseidon on top of that. Kraken on top of those horse stuns can be catastrophic for any backliner. So a very good follow up potential coming from DarkeFoxWolf with this Poseidon.
Yeah, and I also really like that Poseidon just, I mean, not even ignoring the CC of the Kraken, just the damage whenever Kronos starts to channel that ultimate, he's really vulnerable. A really big hard-hitting ability like Kraken should help to put him in the ground before he's really able to get that back off and kind of come back into the fight. So a really good counter pick. Now we have seen a little bit of Poseidon ADC. Do you think there's any chance that's a Poseidon ADC, or do you think we're going to see it in the mid lane like normal?
I think we're gonna see this in the mid lane. I've seen Dark play this pick a lot, and I think she's really comfortable on this Poseidon. So I don't see why this Poseidon wouldn't be going to the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely a good point. Now, Thoth, locked in on the other side. I also kind of like this pick. It has, I mean, assuming Poseidon is going mid, I like Thoth into Poseidon. I know the cripple can kind of mess it up, but you have a lot more range than Dark Fox is going to have, so Poke Battle should definitely favor the order side here. But I think the one thing we still haven't talked about, and there it is, Akamaru's Dodgy was one of the Season 1 All-Stars, looked really solid on this pick for the entirety of last season. Definitely going to be exciting to see what he's able to do with that mid lane.
Definitely, and Daji just has this great ability to really just get into the back and really annoy the enemy team. Like great gank potential too, coming with that POWAAAAHHHH up to her teleport dash as well. That really can shake things up in these team fights. And a big fan of Daji, so I can't wait to see how Akamaru pilots this.
Yeah, and I think the one other notable thing we really haven't talked about, I mean, you already said at the start, the CC coming from the Guan Yu and the Poseidon, now the Daji, there is absolutely zero CC immunity on the Order side team except for the Chronos ultimate, which locks you in place and just subjects you to a whole nother type of damage. So this is going to be a really, really dangerous draft here for Valentine's Day. I think it's going to be really execution heavy, which going into already the stacked top three is not really something I love to see, but I think we're going to have to wait until the last two picks come out. They still got a lot of time to turn that around.
Yeah, definitely. And with that Gilgamesh that was picked up by Valentine's Day, a little bit of flex potential coming there. So that's why we're seeing a Thor and Lancelot band coming out from War Games. Not entirely sure where this Gilga is going. And rounding out the band phase from V-Day is going to be Sol and Freya, two other magical ADCs that are really strong right now and have a lot of damage output potential. So good to take those ladies off the map.
Yeah, definitely some smart bans. Normally, I'd be a little bit less concerned about the mage ADCs, but given the fact that Wargames already have a Dodgy and a Guan Yu, both of which can put out really, really big amounts of damage, I'd say mage ADC definitely still in the play. Probably not anymore, but I like this pick, a Ymir. We've seen this a few times in Scouting Grounds. It seems like it doesn't matter what meta, what nerfs, what buffs, Ymir's always good.
Yeah, and Ymir just does this great thing with disruption and getting people out of position with the walls and the freezes. He's just a really solid pick and never really feels like he's ever in a bad spot.
Oh, and a Kukulkan pick, so that does mean we're going to see the Poseidon ADC. You're both incorrect, but it's going to be a Poseidon Chronos duo lane. Now, with these new picks, do you think this is possibly a Neja support, or who do you think is going to go into the duo lane there?
I definitely think Neja probably has the best potential to go into the support role. I mean, Odin brings a lot of pressure into support, but I don't think the peel is really all there for Odin outside of that stun coming off of his three. So I think the sash and the windfire wheels coming out of the Rizzler could really pay off for Valentine's Day going into this game and support.
Yeah, it definitely should. There's going to be a lot of trade offs to take into account, but that's going to do it for us here on the desk. So we'll join you back in game for game number two.
And we are back into game two, technically, of Valentine's Day versus War Games coming out. And really interesting what we're seeing here. It looks like we actually do get to see the Thoth ADC pitch.
Yeah, it's definitely not what I expected. I guess that does mean that Hey 901 played the Oleron in the mid game last time. So it's definitely a change, and I'd be really interested to see how this Thoth builds as Voulg dropping low in the
early on, and Akamaru finishes him off for the first blood early on, 45 seconds in. Strikes first on the Daji.
Yeah, really good kill early on. That's something that Akamaru likes to do. He ganks early, kind of disregards maybe a little bit of the XP, and that time it does pay off. As Odin down for the first blood, not the jungle too. That's definitely going to be a big help. But when we look across a map, I think, like you said, there's a Thoth ADC, who you really can't ignore. But because of that Chronos in the mid lane, it's really going to allow him to build a lot more freely, I think.
Yeah, it's going to definitely let Kronos have a bit more flexibility with the build path, what he's trying to do. If he does decide to go the auto attack route, or if he's really just looking for pure damage off his abilities. He really can go either direction for what he's looking at. Coming off the duel, though, Pest is in the jungle, jumps in, going right onto LuneyToons. Finds a little bit of return damage, but not enough to seal the deal. Damage coming out as well off of the Thoth, Chiron. So damage does get pumped out, but nothing to turn into the exchange gank. Here comes Akamaru getting stashed right away by the Rizzler. Rizzler falling low. Gonna have to try and find his way out. Just barely gets his way out as the Gymkhana looking for a little bit extra onto Riz. Finds the sash off one and will clean up LuneyToons. Pest News is going to find Akamaru as well. That's going to go 2 down off of War Games, and V-Day will be taking up the lead of 2-1 in the kill department.
Yeah, I mean, really good first gank from the Dodgy, but on the flip side, Pest News able to secure a few kills there. I don't mind Wargame stepping back up. They saw the Neja was really low, wanted to finish it. But with the Thoth still decently high, Gilgamesh on high health, probably not the right moment to do that. They do pay for it 2 for 1. They're now down only a few hundred gold, so that's a good thing. That first blood bounty, I think, really helped them kind of maintain that small loss there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to be playing a little bit of dividends for the small loss that they did lose in duo off that gank, but still able to keep their footing as they're not too worried about what's going on as of right now. And just taking a look at the builds right now, seeing the Book of Thoth Rush coming off of DarkFox, which is going to be able to really get that stacked quicker than usual, I'd say.
Yeah, and normally I don't like that on most gods, but it's Kukulkan. He already has a passive that scales off in the max mana, so I think definitely a smart move to do that, especially this Chronos. We see them really tend to run away with the lane as soon as they hit level 5. They just have such higher boxing potential, especially with that ramping stun, so I do like that start. Should definitely help DarkFox stay ahead in damage, and minion pressure too, as we see that Tornado basically insta-clears that wave. But now, the supports still hanging in lane, maybe a little longer than expected. Do you think they're going to rotate to mid soon, and which one's going to kind of have the advantage? They're both very aggressive picks.
I think they're really trying to feel out how the landing phase is going to go. I don't think, but hold that thought, going right to solo pressure again, coming out the Voulg. Here comes the POWAAAAHHHH, but will be secured by SwagMaster. We'll be getting the kill off that, and 0-2 to start off for Voulg, really starting off on a tough start.
Yeah, probably not the start that Odin wanted. At the same time, Odin, he's not a god that feels terrible from behind. I mean, the cage at all levels is incredibly impactful. Same thing with the stun, massive damage from the bird bomb. Now gank onto left lane, Pestilence coming in. They try to find LuneyToons, no beads. He's in trouble.
Got off the wall stun, Kraken used to peel for himself, but is going to be chased down by Chiron. That's one into the Thoth. As well, still on the chase though, is Gymkhana. Will get picked up by the Rizzler. That's 2-0-2 for the Neja support.
Yeah, and that's a really good pair of ganks there from Gilgamesh. Twice in a row now onto the duo lane, finding a big impact. DarkFox is gonna drop the Spirit of the Nine Winds onto the wave. Gotta get those stacks somehow, didn't want to lose them to anything. Now gonna be backing. And finally picks up that start item. Sands of Time, definitely the smart move. It does look like Thoth. Itemizing towards a more traditional mid-route. He did go Book of Thoth first item. Now, is Voulg in trouble again by the Guan Yu?
Doesn't appear so. Seems that SwagMaster is going to retreat further back from the tower. But looking on the top side, though, Pest News is making his rounds, coming back. He is going to be joined as well by Hey on the Chronos. We'll find one more on to do it, but rides the horsey. Back on the tower is going to be safe from the two-man gank from Valentine's Day. And this Guan Yu will live on.
Yeah, good job being safe there from SwagMaster. Almost, I mean, you would expect a lot of times getting aggressive onto that Odin to go ahead and commit the ultimate, try to chase down a kill. Lucky thing he didn't, so he still has it. Now on the flip side, Valentine's Day looking for another gank to mid. 3-on-2, Gymkhana misses the stun, but gets a good wall that should dispel the aggression for now.
Definitely, and at least, if not anything, is going to be able to at least find out where they are for DarkFox, so she doesn't have to, she knows where they are at all times and can play accordingly to avoid any ganks. But after that, they're going to retreat back to their red, claim that for themselves, and kind of reset off that.
Yeah, and they definitely do need to be looking out for DarkFox's safety here. It's a Kukulkan into a Gilgamesh, an Odin, and a Neja. There is about a 0% chance of safety there. So all Wargames definitely going to have to be on top of it in this one, because theoretically DarkFox should be able to outdamage the other two magical characters on Valentine's Day. I think Kukulkan just does the most raw damage in the game, just a matter of allowing her to transition up to that point.
Yeah, and it's definitely the funny thing about both these mid lane picks is the further this game goes, the stronger they're only going to get. Kukulkan's just going to hit hard as much the more mana items that Dark is able to obtain, and you know, as Chronos goes too, the later the game goes, the harder he's going to hit as well. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, oh, now Gymkhana might be in trouble. Under-leveled, stun finds none. This could and should be a dead Ymir. Akamaru's here, though.
Akamaru is around going into the Palau. Shards of Ice does get used off by Gymkhana. Is still going to be living. Here comes Sphere of Nine Winds. Does find a few hits, and into trouble is the Rizzler. Finally gets picked up by Akamaru. Down goes the support. And with that, I think it's going to look like a swift retreat coming from Valentine's Day, but LuneyToons finds up Chiron, is going to push him back under tower, and that's going to be all she wrote off that.
Yeah, good job by LuneyToons forcing the beads there. I couldn't see it at first. I was like, why did they not Kraken? But that was the beads down from the Thoth, and a really good turnaround gank there by Wargames, committing all the ultimates and bailing Gymkhana out. Really good teamwork from them. Exactly what we need to see if they're going to continue to do well late into this game.
Definitely, and also a hats off to Gymkhana too, with a great wall coming in as when he was pretty much almost one hit, was able to really set the space between him and the rest of Wargame or the Valentine's Day boys. So being able to save his own life there is definitely a major play as far as going here. But towards solo side, in trouble is SwagMaster. Into the cage he goes, onto the horsey. Dash will be good and is looking to make a swift retreat. Somehow manages to escape the wrath of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and another great ultimate.
Going in is Akamaru, and Akamaru finds up. Hey, 901! 901 sent back to the base. Another one gets picked up by this Daji. Gonna change the score to 3-1. A very strong start coming up from Akamaru, and gonna be looking to continue on this Tyrant as very strong. Oh, but into the back of tower. LuneyToons Krakens up Chiron, and Chiron is to base.
Yeah, no beads and no life there from the bird in the duo lane. On the flip side now, Gymkhana feeling a lot more confident. Still 2 levels under, but the Ymir walls have been on point, showing absolutely no fear, trusting the team. Definitely like what we're seeing out of Wargames. They look by far and away the more confident team, but Valentine's Day still the advantage. There's a first misplaced Ymir wall. Is he going to fall on duo lane? No, shouldn't be. Good stun.
Like, just tanky enough, but takes him up into the sky. Windfire wheels will be good to connect, but the follow-up damage, unfortunately, is not going to be quite there, so Gymkhana gets to live on and gets an ult for his troubles. Dashing and rewind, not fast enough. 901 goes down again. Another pickup by Akamaru. This Daji is starting to hit.
Yeah, really good job from Akamaru, and we've seen Daji's presence all over the map. Really, really good at spreading himself out there. I mean, been to solo lane, been to duo lane on a counter, and now a lot of presence in the mid lane. Definitely got to be feeling good. Chiron, though, needs to be careful. Beads up in 8 seconds. That might not be enough time, but the cripple misses.
Going in onto the Palau, is going to quickly grab him, does get the pull, is going to get one more to do it, and LuneyToons seals the deal. Down goes Chiron, but Pesnews takes and gets the nice little wall stun off the Palau, wins with Samas, will be good, but won't be good enough as the Kraken puts Pesnews in the dirt.
And another great fight from Wargames. Good job by Akamaru, managing to get that Palau stun right before the speeds came up. And good discipline from the Poseidon, holding on to the ult until the very last minute. That's a really good sign if you're a Wargames fan. They're playing the map really good. But I know it's always a question that comes to me, and it's where are they going to exert their pressure? They're ahead in kills or ahead in gold, but what can they turn to really put themselves over the edge here and make sure that Valentine's Day can't come back?
Definitely. I think what it's all going to come down to is really the objective play overall. Sure, they can get the picks, but what they really need to start finding is finding these objectives after the picks. And that's where we're going to start looking to see these Gold Fury fights, or when the Pyromancer starts coming up, we're going to see a little bit of Pyro action too, possibly. So I'm really looking to see the objective play coming after these small picks.
Yeah, it definitely should be interesting. And I think one other objective-based thing that we seem not to talk about, because last season it seemed like there was a lot more, just tower pushing. There is not a lot of tower pushing in this new season of Smite. Kind of all revolves around, hey, minions are going to grab this tower. That's cool. Or if they get a big D side, you'll see them start to fall. I'd really like to see these teams put more of an impact onto that early game, because it's going to transition you so well into the late game. It's going to save a lot of time. If I'm War Games, I'd like to start getting the Bastions down on all the lanes and see if you can't pick up some tier 1 towers before a few more minutes have passed. Uh-oh, Chiron might be in trouble. Good dash out.
Definitely gets the dash away. And that's one of the things with pushing the towers. It's a little bit harder in the season with how much longer these lanes feel. The distance between the T1 and the T2 make it so much more brutal if you do lose that T1. So you're going to see a lot of people sitting in lane probably a little bit longer than most we would see in Season 9, just based on, wanting to keep this T1 up for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, it's definitely the smart call. Now, Gold Fury is up. We saw a few games the other day at High Division taking the Gold Fury as early as 7 minutes in. Looks like neither team wants to commit to that, and I honestly think that's smart. Neither team has their traditional ADC. Granted, I mean, Chronos and Poseidon do as much damage as a normal ADC, but this early in the game, it's kind of hard to justify going for it that early without a kind of more concrete source of damage. But it looks like Pyro's going to be the call for War Games. Nobody from Valentine's Day even knows there is zero blue ward coverage on the map.
Yeah, it just seems like it's going to be a free Pyro looking towards mid, though. Akamaru is joined by the rest of the team of Valentine's Day. Does find a nice pull off the Pala and will be able to self-heal himself out of harm's way. Going towards back mid off the horse, finds a stun. Here comes the cage from Odin into the Shamash, and Hey is going to claim one. Chiron claims another. LuneyToons goes down, but into the back. Getting pretty close. Akamaru finds one. There's going to go Yu, but is going to be going onto the rundown. Finds himself under tower, gets safe there. And SwagMaster also just barely surviving off the skin of his teeth. And with that, the only real person that is healthy and can continue the fight is DarkeFox. So whether she goes for that will be interesting to see. Does go after the Rizzler, but isn't going to find the kill there. And we'll just push them back. Might get a... might look for something, but here comes Chiron looking for a little bit of damage off of Dark. Finds one shot. Won't be enough to secure anything off that, but does do a good job of establishing his presence.
Yeah, good late rotation from the Thought there. Unfortunately, finds no value. And members from both teams are really lucky to be alive after that fight. That looked a little kind of non-planned from both teams. Neither of them seemed like they had a great idea of how they wanted to dive in. Little disjointed. That being said, I like the contest there from Valentine's Day. Off of the back of that Pyro, definitely limit the gold lead they got. Would have been nicer to get the objective, but still, LuneyToons looking for a kill. Oh, great.
Oh, he got, the cripple off the dash is going to put him in a little bit of trouble. Does find the nice cripple off of his dash, but speaking of dashing coming in, Palau is going to be dropped off by Akamaru, but not be enough to secure Chiron, so is going to live on under tower, and that's going to just be a false retreat, but maybe not too late on the retreat as Valentine's Day joins the fight. Here comes Pest News jumping in, looking for LuneyToons, is only going to find out, but Kraken comes out. Be enough to take anyone out, but will be enough to get them to back off just for now, but Rizzler is going to find the sash off of DarkeFox. DarkeFox is in trouble. Spirit 9 Wins comes in. Rewind forced out by Hey. The fight does continue as Valentine's Day getting pushed back. Chiron finds one and is going to be on the chase down, but Akamaru might have gone a little bit too far and is going to find himself falling down to the Kronos. And that looks to be it as a late teleport coming in and find Voulg is going to force out, but SwagMaster going to claim up Chiron in the back. Thoth goes down, and another one coming looking for a stun off of Jim Kana. And will find it. That's going to be another one to the Chiron. SwagMaster is still around. Stash going to come out from the Rizzler once again. Damage coming from the Kronos is good. Going to be a little bit more to take out SwagMaster. And does finally find it. Hey, 901 taking 3 for the road on that team fight. And with that, they might be looking towards this Gold Fury.
Yeah, and that's a good fight from Valentine's Day. but I think they shot themselves in the foot there with Eternal team fighting. They have to drop the Gold Fury. They got a lot of kills, but they get no map pressure from it. They don't get any big objectives down. They won the fight, but in my book, that kind of goes up as a net loss. That being said, I love the counter gank to force out all the utility from the Poseidon. It's going to keep Chiron safe in lane a lot longer. Just wish they would have walked away from that one after that initial fight and not tried to re-engage on that gradient.
Yeah, definitely taking a little bit more than they could chew. Sure, they found all the kills, but if you don't find anything after that, it just becomes your standard arena game versus, although you're not getting any tickets off that. So unfortunately, they do get the kills. They find some, some padding for hey 901 on this Kronos. Gonna find a whole bunch of gold off the kills he obtained. So good in that regard. But speaking of that though, Pyro is being looked at by War Games, and hey 901 comes around the corner. Isn't enough to steal it though, and might find himself in a little bit of trouble, but re-engage off of Akamaru. The Palau is going to find, and now this Kronos in trouble. Kronos dead. Akamaru now on the rundown off of Pest News, and the Rizzler takes him into the Windfire Wheels up to the sky. He's going to try and secure this, and Voulg will secure the life of Akamaru. As still on the dive from Valentine's Day, DarkFox is in trouble, getting run down by Pest News, but in the back, the Rizzler is going to be being looked at. Might fall pretty soon, and does. LuneyToons gets himself a double kill. And now Pest News is going to be on the rundown off of SwagMaster, gets the blink off, still being chased, but don't really think there's going to be a whole lot of threat on to his life, so might be okay. Chiron gonna hover around this Gold Fury just in case it gets picked up by War Games, but
yeah,
not looked at just yet.
And I think we just saw literally the exact opposite. What happened the last fight? War Games pick up a couple kills. They got a good opportunity. DarkFox now pushing down the tower. Ooh, that is Chronos.
A little bit too far up, and is gonna get another pick coming to A901, looking pretty solid on this Kronos right now, and I'm really interested to see what this Kronos is gonna look like once he gets that full build online.
It's gonna be scary for sure. I don't think there's any way to get around that. Made me feel a bit foolish. I was about to say I'd want to see War Games take a few of those tier 1s we've been talking about, or something like a Gold Fury. Aren't able to do that, although they do get one tower. Not sure if that's worth a Kukulkan. Now the fight starts again. Valentine's Day with the engage.
Valentine's Day with the engage, and that's going to be Windfire Wheels off the Kraken. Right off that, Winds of Shamash will go. Cage as well goes. Voulg gets one. Then Chiron's going to claim another. And then, speaking of that, Voulg claims another as well, making that a double kill for the Odin. 4 down for War Games. And it's pretty only time will tell what we see comes off this this little power play they get here. Is that going to be right to the Fire Giant?
I think it is, and I think it should be. This is a really good call. If I was them, I wouldn't even send Pest News into the Fire Giant pit. You know DarkeFoxWolf is on the way. You know they have the Spirit of the 9 Winds. And nobody's zoning yet. Defense under half. Finally now they're going to step out in order to deal with it. Be able to shut down DarkeFoxWolf. Oh, way too early.
Ult super early, and isn't going to be able to claim up that Fire Giant, but will get her life claimed by Pest News. That's going to be another one for the Gilga, and Fire Giant goes to the side of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, really good pickup from Valentine's Day. Played that exactly how they should have. Unfortunate for DarkeFoxWolf, stepped up a little bit too soon. We commented earlier about the lack of a traditional ADC. I think you see it best there. Kukulkan definitely thinking that was going to go down sooner than expected. Now Valentine's Day on the forefront for one of the first times this set. They're looking really good. They have Fire Giant, but now what are they going to do with him? I'd love to see them all group up down in mid here. I think it'd be an easy tier 1, and they could push it to tier 2. War Games is really spread out on the map.
Yeah, it kind of just seems like they all just went their own separate ways back to their lane to see what they could do here, while Valentine's Day, it finally takes down that mid T1. So did find at least one of the towers, and if not one of the most important ones you can take down.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to get the mid tower down. It's just such an easy transition from all the objectives onto the map when you have pressure in that lane. I know a lot of people like taking down the left lane to drag people away from the impending fire giants. Middle lane is just as good. It's a lot easier to get to, kind of centered around everything in the map. And now Valentine's Day doing the smart thing. They're rotating over to right. You're gonna get the tier 1. Their health bars are good, their ults are up. I would look at a tier 2 tower here.
Yeah, I think they are in good position too. All ultimates are up as well for, you know, both sides in that regard, but more importantly, Valentine's Day with that fire giant buff, so they can really get some pressure going on here too. Blink coming in from Voulg. The cage is going to be good, but unfortunately, not really too much follow-up just yet. Winter Shmosh will be good as well. Kraken is going to be on the response. Into the pal-out is Alkamaru. And Poseidon will claim up Pest News, but very low health bar is getting as Valentine's Day as DarkeFoxWolf is going to claim one, and now Voulg on the run. But will he be able to secure his life just now as well? As Gymkhana also in the same idea, super low, getting back under tower, and it's just Hay right now, joined up by Chiron.
This is a little ambitious. Tower's low. I don't know about this one.
I don't know. We're going to see how it plays out for them. Going to be Blink coming in by SwagMaster, jump in by Voulg, but won't get punished for it, as is able to jump and just kind of walk away off that. But Valentine's Day does get the payoff, gets both T1 and T2 tower in solo land, so.
Yeah, and good job by them finishing it up. I was really concerned after the initial one. I mean, Voulg found a beautiful Odin cage in the back, cage 4. Then Akamaru dove, and every single member of Valentine's Day left the tower radius. They needed only a few more autos, but they all left to try to deal with the dodgy. Great play there by Akamaru, extending it. But now, they might have given up a little bit too much. They all have to back. They didn't have as much time as they thought they did. Now Wargame's going to be aggressing onto the Gold Fury. Valentine's Day don't get there in time.
Yeah, and that's just going to be gold going down right after that, and they don't really even have anything to say about it. But here comes Sash coming out, and the Rizzler is going to take off a Gymkhana on the Ymir. So that's another one going down for the Najah. And with that, they're going to be able to pressure out this left side now. And looking at this T2, should go down pretty quickly. Frenzy does get popped to take it down as quick as possible. And something we haven't really talked about is this wall combo with the Chronos from Thoth is really just going to help put out so much more damage from a lot of these objective shreds to the team fights. Really something that we don't want to look at that much. But that T2 also going down.
Oh, Spirit of the Nine Winds doesn't connect. Valentine's Day find it here. They might have to retreat. Health bars dropping low. Wisely are going to. The Fire Giant buff is down, but now that tower is low enough that they don't need it. They can definitely afford. I know we always say that we hate Fire Giant dances here, but they can definitely afford to take their time on this Fire Giant and force Wargames into making a mistake.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the name of the game here, is that they have the pressure, they have the footing right now. If they can catch Wargames off guard and capitalize on it, then this next Fire Giant, it should go to Valentine's Day, as long as they play patient and they play it properly.
Yeah, they definitely have the advantage right now, and when we look at the board too, the XP leads, especially my eyes are drawn to the supports. 4-level lead for the Najah. That does not feel good at any stage of the game, much less now, but now Najah's trying to 1v4, not able to punish while off the mark. Wargame's now going to be forced out of the pit. Valentine's Day might want to get aggressive here, but I wouldn't overcommit anything. You lose a single member and this Fire Giant push could go down the drain.
Yeah, definitely. You lose one and suddenly now you're the team on the back front, so definitely going to want to be careful what's going on. But Gymkhana might have gotten taken a little bit out of position here. Wall cage is going to be good, and Pest News is going to secure off Gymkhana. Now it's go, go, go for Valentine's Day. As next up on the list is LuneyToons on the Poseidon. That's a double kill for Pest News on this Gilgamesh jumping in. And it's gonna next up it's gonna be SwagMaster gonna be taken down by Hey 901. Darkbox taking tons of damage. Spirit of 9 Winds will not connect. And next thing you know, Valentine's Day is looking at the Fenyx on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and it's a 5v1. I mean, this should just be the game, right?
Yeah, almost a delayed, pretty much a delayed triple kill off of her Pest News right there, and looks like they're not gonna go for the end and are gonna look for the T2 in mid. Gonna play it slowly is what Valentine's Day is opting for here.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I always like seeing teams play it safe. That being said, that was a glorified 5v1. Gymkhana not high enough level to really contest and really be tanky enough yet. It's definitely the safe play, but now they are going on to Fire Giant. They have minions, Loser Warriors knows where they are. Very wisely, not going to try to step up to this one. If Valentine's Day keeps playing at this pace, I think it's a smart thing to do. They're not going to make mistakes, but the further along it goes, the less of a lead you'll have, so they definitely need to be careful. It's a big balancing act.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, Valentine's Day kind of has war games where they want them. They have them playing their pace, and that means that Valentine's Day can essentially dictate most of these team fights the way they want to. It's a lot of response right now from war games, and that's it. You can kind of argue that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but the way these fights are going, Valentine's Day is coming out on top 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, they've got all the advantages in the world right now as we see them step towards the Primal Fury as well. Definitely a good objective to take. It's going to help on any future FG. And the next Fire Giant that comes up is going to be an enhanced one. So definitely going to be an important objective for that fight. But now, we got a small break in the action. Is there anything in the builds that stands out to you this game?
Just quickly looking at the builds, it looks like a lot of standard stuff that I've seen. Nothing too overly crazy. Not what I've seen so far.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think the only odd items, and I'm doing some pretty big air quotes because they're still fairly normal, is the Tablet Destinies on Kukulkan and the Fabulous Hoops on Guan. You tend to see that less, but now the Fenyx push has stopped, so I gotta stop talking and let's see how they engage this Spirit of the Nine Winds off the mark.
Off the mark, and they are going in. Odin with a massive jump on the Dark Fox, and she is out of here! K901 does claim the credit for it, and jumped on. SwagMaster is going to have to be forced to retreat. They're back into the back line, though, is Akamaru into the Pala, finds a pair of beads, but won't find much else. Gonna have to retreat back to his team into the Fenyx. Now it's going to get completely run down by Pest News. SwagMaster just barely getting out by the skin of his teeth. Going to be freezed out by Kana, but isn't going to be enough. Akamaru finally finds 901 on the Chronos, so no ADC left out for Valentine's Day, and is going to make this push off onto the end game maybe a little bit awkward. Jump coming in from Pest News, but isn't going to find much else after that. Going to change their attention to the mid Fenyx. Is going down at a decent pace, but War Games does have some time to interact with them, try and get them off it, and they do, pushing Valentine's Day out, and the re-engage from War Games might be looking. Cage coming out from Voulg is going to buy a little bit of time for the get out from Valentine's Day, but the chase might still be on as LuneyToons is going right on the Chiron, finds the cripple. Going to be forcing him out, still alive right now on the Thoth, and looks like that's going to be all she wrote, as Pest News is opting to not actually cancels the back. So guess that's going to be it for now, as Pyro gets looked at by V-Day.
Yeah, good job from them picking up the Pyromancer on the back end. I'm not going to lie though, this is a point where I'm going to start to get really worried about Valentine's Day. I mean, to their credit, beautiful opening pick, did it exactly how they should have, had a 5v4 up again. But then, once again, they step too far, they lose a member in the Titan room, they don't get the left Fenyx down in time, it just ticks away at him, and Akamaru with a beautiful blink into the back, pulling both sets of beads from the carries. But when you look at the Kukulkan and Poseidon, they both still have their relics. They didn't get as heavily dove that time as Valentine's Day did on a defense too. It was a good attack all around from Valentine's Day, but they definitely are going to need to clean it up here. Hey, now no one's going for the Fenyx. I don't know about this with Fire Giant up.
Gets forced into the rewind, going to be on his way out. Gets rejoined up by Chiron, so is not alone anymore, but 5 strong for War Games on this right side. Definitely was going to beat out the 3 of Valentine's Day. Finally, gets joined by the rest of his squad for this right Fenyx push. Is super low, so won't take a whole lot to see this Fenyx drop, but he's gonna see how it goes so far. Akamaru is going in onto the Palace. 3 of the 9 wins. He is going to be a little bit off the mark, but does find the pick on the Chiron. And DarkeFoxWolf picks up another, and forced to be on the retreat is Valentine's Day. He bit off a little bit more than they can chew and did not expect that massive powwow to come through.
Yeah, and I know I've been critical of their attacks. I can't fault a single thing they did there at the Fenyx. That was more War Games just absolutely blowing them up. Valentine's Day had a good approach, but unfortunately Akamaru into the back, followed up by DarkeFoxWolf and LuneyToons, just do so much damage. There's no contesting. Now it's the enhanced Fire Giant. They gotta try to steal it. They don't have any ult, so what are they gonna do?
It's a little dangerous. SwagMaster does see Pest News, is gonna look for the kill, and Akamaru will pick him up. He's gonna fall down, and here comes Voulg, gonna try and find the 1-for-1 here, looking to take out Akamaru, but will get out safe and sound, as the rest of V-Day will be forced on the retreat. As War Games, the tides are turning of this one, as the EFG does go to the side of Chaos.
Yeah, and that's just a really clean last few minutes there for War Games. That's 2 solid Fenyx defenses. They have the enhanced Fire Giant now. The only thing holding them back, when we look across the map, they're still behind. I mean, at one point in the early game, they had some pretty decent pressure, but the Tier 1 towers are still standing, Tier 2s are all untouched, and they don't have minion pressure in any of the lanes. Right now, they have the momentum flowing with them, but they have a lot of work to do. I think credit to Valentine's Day, they did so much in so little time that now War Games, they don't even have an advantage across the map. By the time that EFG wears off, theoretically it should still be an even game.
The bright side with having all those towers up is that's a lot of potential gold to rack up to finish off some of those builds to really get caught up to Valentine's Day. So definitely we'll see how that turns out for them, as they are now looking at the T2 on duo side.
Yeah, we're going to see how their approach is. We haven't seen War Games go on the offense yet.
Definitely.
Wall, good double side.
Very nice wall. Here comes the Kraken into the Pala, forced to rewind off. Hey, 901, 3 of the 9 wins, is a little bit off the mark, but Voulg finding himself super in trouble. But a whole lot of damage is coming out from Valentine's Day. And it's going to force all of them back. Hey, 901 claims one of his own. And now onto the back one is War Games. That Fire Giant is going to help them sustain a little bit. Pest News is going to be jumping onto LuneyToons, but LuneyToons has the autos, and LuneyToons has the damage. Down goes Pest News.
Yeah, I don't know about that, NK.
Oh no, Blink coming in through SwagMaster, looking for a little bit of damage. Akamaru picks up Gymkhana, or nope, that was wrong. into the back is LuneyToons gonna look for Chiron, finds the cripple, and the rest of the damage is good. Chiron goes down, and next up on the list is going to be the Rizzler as he falls to Akamaru, and that's a deicide. See how War Games can capitalize on this.
I mean, great turnaround from War Games, and that started off with a really, really nice Tier 2 tower defense. For Valentine's Day, they got a few picks early. They didn't lose too much damage on the tower, but again, they overstepped just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, and War Games does a great job capitalizing. Now they're pushing down the Fenyx. Odin's expended all his utility. Fenyx down. This could be the end. Pest News back up, though. 901 closed. It'll be risky.
Definitely. Vogue's in trouble, but does get the jump off, but unfortunately can't say the same for Pest News. The powwow pulls him in, and he is dead.
Yeah.
That's another pickup.
Very unfortunate, and another good ult from the Dodgy. Definitely see why that gets respect banned away from Akamaru a lot.
Definitely.
And now, luckily, I think they still have enough of a lead and enough people up that War Games can't afford to finish it off. They're still down in gold, but overall met pressure now starting to change. EFG comes up in a few seconds. Again, this, I think, is going to be the last fight of the game, if Fire's out.
most definitely. It's really going to be the decision maker, I think, of who gets this fire. It's going to be crucial. I think War Games right now has a tremendous job coming back into this game, and now they look like they're in the driver's seat. So it's really going to be it's going to be a trial of tribulations to see how they play with the pressure they've now given themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, since really the first probably 10 minutes, we've seen Valentine's Day ahead the entire time. Now what can they do on the back end? ChironArkin dropping low. There's Beads, there's Aegis, and there is his life. Sorry, not Beads, just Aegis. Now 5v4 on EFG. Rizzler is the only one close, has to steal this if they want to chase him.
Looking at fire, dropping very low. Spirit 9 wins, will connect with it, and will secure it off for War Games. And going, take it up into the sky. Looking for the last hit, and Akamaru will seal the deal. Forced into the rewind, but into trouble, into a Kraken. He is down, and next on the menu is going to be this Odin by the looks of it. Getting on the chase down, SwagMaster is on the prowl looking for him, as the rest of War Games is going to group up around this mid T2. And next thing on the menu, looking like this mid Fenyx going in. Voulg in trouble, gets dashed in by SwagMaster, but we'll be looking at it. But a beautiful double freeze coming out. And right now, Titan is going to be looked at by War Games, falling, dropping super low, less than 50. One out to do it. Spirit of 9 wins, confirms the dub, and that's going to be all for War Games.
Yeah, I mean, we called it again. That was the final fight of the game. Great opening by War Games, finding ChironArkin push up a little bit too far. And what a turnaround from that whole game, never getting discouraged from behind. Some great defenses from both sides, same with great offense. I mean, as back and forth as that game was, that was incredibly even. Both teams looked really, really strong.
I have to agree with you. I think there was a lot of good things from both squads in this team. I think they both played really well. I honestly felt like I watched a Dodgy masterclass, to be honest. That was a lot of great ults coming out from Akamaru, especially on that Fenyx defense when he dove in and got like a 4-man pull or something like that. That was absolutely insane coming from Akamaru on the Dodgy.
Yeah, I mean, Dodgy has to be a ban next game. Even if we look past the damage, look past the kills, I haven't seen a jungler dive into the backline so many times, and the enemy team just scatter. They did not have a response for that. Great performance from the jungler. And the rest of the team, too, following up. It sounds like we're talking a lot about Akamaru and LuneyToons on the Poseidon, but all of War Games really stepped up in that one. A great team effort to take back that win.
I have to agree with you there. And I know we were talking about Gymkhana being 4 levels down, but by the end of that game, he had crawled himself back out of that hole to only a 1 level deficit by the end of that, I think. Um, Back when he was level 18 to 17. So a very good display from Gymkhana being able to catch himself back out of that hole.
Yeah, it definitely was. And as a reminder, that was actually game two, not the first game. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how these teams respond. We're not going to make you wait any further, so we will be right back into picks and bans for game number 3 of the SDL Scouting Grounds.
Alrighty, what's going, guys? We're back for game 3 with some Valentine's Day versus War Games in the Scouting Grounds. Once again, I am Zexous, joined by Kingfisher.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see the changes that go into game 3. We do have War Games now on the order pick, so they're going to get the top pick of the draft. I think last game it was the Chronos locked in top. I can see why. Hey 901 did very, very good. I think pretty dang close to about 40,000 player damage. So if I'm War Games here, definitely looking to take away some of those top picks, and they've already done so with All Kwang.
Yeah, Al Kwong already taken off the gate. I do want to see a Dodgy band somewhere in here. I want these guys
100%.
to do me proud.
I mean, you have to. Akamaru just looks so good on the pick. to his credit, he looks really good on other picks too. The Susano, I think, always does really well on. Susano, less of a talking point this season, really came along at the end of season 9 as a massive god to really just kind of be scared of. But now, Sing's back, and again, the Khepri ban. I mean, I think Khepri's as good as the next person. I don't know if it needs a ban, though, unless Jim Khan is just an insane Khepri.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. It's kind of a question mark for me because I haven't seen a whole lot of Khepri so far in this season. So seeing the ban here kind of leaves a little bit of a question mark for me. Um, I do want to see this last ban for them go to this Dodgy. The right there it is. Perfect. You did me proud, boys.
Yeah, definitely a good call. And I think, like we were saying, I mean, Khepri certainly among one of the best supports, still is odd. Now it's going to be a Guan Yu lock in. Again, I mean, the Guan Yu's a really good pick. We've talked about it a few times. I don't know why they went with the Guan Yu over something like the Chronos, especially because they're opening the door for it to be taken by Hey 901 again. I don't know if I love that call. Maybe would have liked that to be banned out instead of the Maui.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the first pick might be the play for it. I think it's still a great pick nonetheless. I think Swagmaster had a pretty solid showing on the Guan Yu, and I don't doubt we'll see it again in Game 3. Um, but I'm interested to. I, I wonder if it's just like as comfort as you can get with a pick like this. But we
Yeah.
shall see.
I mean, the Oler is definitely still a good pick. I mean, especially if they're going to be sending. I would assume this is another Poseidon ADC. It looked really strong last game in the hands of LuneyToons. And Oler on the flip side does well in mid. Bluestone, still a really, really good item. Now the Freya gonna get locked in on the back end. So there's that magical ADC we saw last game. They were banned out in the second phase. But both teams still passing up the Chronos. I'm not totally sure if I understand why.
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they were looking for a little bit more damage coming up. Maybe they felt like the rewinds weren't good enough. They need some extra damage on an ult like Freya with that Valkyrie's discretion to really seal the deal on a lot of those kills. So that's maybe why they might be opting for this Freya pickup as well with no Daji on the board. Akamaru is looking towards the Thanatos this game.
Yeah, and I do like this pick. It's another really, really high pressure jungler. For what it's worth, I don't think it has as big of a team fight presence as the Dodgy does, but imagine if he was on Thanatosa last game. I mean, we saw him flying around the jungle, ganking early enough, and getting his team out to a good lead before Valentine's Day kind of took over. If you can do the same thing on the Thanatos, it's going to have a much bigger impact, so I really like that pick for War Games.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be great. And towards the late game fight, getting those singular picks coming up with those hovering deaths is going to come in clutch. And I think from what we saw with Akamaru Game 2, I think Game 3 it'll be a lot of the same. From what we're seeing coming towards the ban phase, though, Bukalkin immediately taken off. So gonna have to look for a different kind of mage coming for Dark Fox.
Yeah, and obviously the Kukulkan was a problem last game, did a lot of damage, and especially an ult like Spirit of the Nine Winds on confirming objectives. It's just so good, and you already have a Poseidon, so now Valentine's Day allowing themselves the opportunity to be a lot more aggressive onto those neutral objectives than War Games is, and I really like that call. I think it's one of the areas they kind of struggled with late game, so that should do a lot to remedy it, especially considering they have a physical ADC. I already like these team comps a lot better for both of the squads.
Yeah, I think we're really due for an interesting game here. I like a lot of these picks so far, and I'm interested to see how these teams round out their drafts because I think what we're working with right now is really strong. I'm wondering if we see another pickup coming from Chaos where it could an attack speed buff could be utilized.
Yeah, definitely could see that. I mean, the Fafnir ability already really good with Oler and Poseidon, assuming they're only missing out on their jungler. I would not put it past them to try something like a Kali or a Bakasura. Some of those picks can be really, really good in the right scenarios, and looking at the late game damage from this team already, could theoretically slot right in, but now an Atlas support, another pick that's kind of been flying under the radar that is still absolutely insane in the right hands.
Definitely, and trust me, I've seen a lot of good Atlas players in my day, and man, can that grab really cause some havoc?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best CC abilities in the game, in my opinion. Like, a more steerable Capri pluck. We've already seen the Capri be banned, so now he has another tool to work with. But now, they're still gonna need, I'd assume their mid laner. Freya mid, at least in my opinion, is not very good. So definitely like to see them pick up something traditional. Are there any picks still on the board that you would like to see? Well, doesn't matter, because you're seeing a Persephone.
Definitely, like I like the Persephone. As a character, I think Persephone brings a lot to the table. I was maybe looking for something with a little bit more objective secure. I think Persephone is great for the team fight, but doesn't bring a whole lot of objective secure, in my opinion. But we'll see how it works out. I think it's another character that's great for creating lots of problems with the flowers, and even that ultimate with the massive circle can really do some damage. But rounding it out, we're seeing Lancelot get picked up to finish off the chaos side for Pest News, and
Yeah, and I believe Pest did play the Lancelot game one as well, and looking back at the stats, did pretty dang solid at 11-2, so definitely interesting to say. But looking at these two team comps, is there one that you favor going into this match?
the inner Uller fanboy makes me want to go for the chaos side. So I think I have to just automatically go with that because those stars don't lie,
Fair enough.
baby.
That's fair enough, but I think that's enough for us on the desk, so we'll see you right back into game for the final one of this round, War Games versus Valentine's Day. Who will take the win home in game number 3?
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the last game of the set of the SDL Scouting Grounds for War Games versus Valentine's Day. Once again, you are joined by Zexagon and Kingfisher.
I mean, the intros get better each time. I love the name getting longer, and now we do see already it's a way different team comp from both teams. We touched about it on picks and bans a little bit, but the general dynamics, I think, especially looking at Valentine's Day, having a traditional hunter, I feel, is going to help this team a ton. They were already in the driver's seat for the majority of last game. If they can get off to a similar start, there is going to be no slowing this team down.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited to see how this Uller is going to pay off for Valentine's Day in the long run as well. Getting early aggression going into the mid lane already. Getting chopped up. Hey, I want going to be forced to retreat further back to the tower into his lane. And speaking of that, speaking of retreating, there's the Rizzler getting in a little bit of trouble as well, taking some damage off from LuneyToons. Getting run at, but too little, too late. The Rizzler turns it around for first blood. LuneyToons goes down.
Yeah,
wow, what a turn.
I mean, definitely not expected. I don't know why the Freya getting very close up. Granted, really close to killing the Fafnir, but able to leap away just out of range, making those autos hard to hit. Good job by the support and Chiron for finding a decent bit of damage. Already, I mean, is out damaging the support, to be fair, but what else would you expect?
I mean, what else can you say? Getting absolutely rizzled will make that happen to you, but unfortunately, a very good play. Oh, speaking of more damage, the Rizzler getting himself in trouble once again. He's still alive. The whoop is good by LuneyToons, but he's still not falling. Gymkhana trying to finish him off, but not enough. Wow. Gets the jump out, and he is out of there. Best news is throwing up dual lane. Is on the backside. Does see Akamaru. Needs to be careful what's going on, but finally, Rizzler is going down. And power shot to Pesnews, but Pesnews is now in trouble and gets taken for the double kill from Akamaru. This Thana is getting online fast, baby.
I mean, I guess nothing changed from last game. Already chaos in the duo lane, 2 minutes in. Some wild stuff going down, but ultimately War Games come out on top. LuneyToons set a little bit behind, but so are the jungler and the support for Valentine's Day. Luckily though, this Oler now getting a little bit more farm than his lane counterpart. With so many people missing, Akamaru back in mid lane to split that wave. It was so nice of the team. I do love when they do that.
Yeah, really just thoughtful guys out there, really just looking out for the squad as well. And I know I wanted to bring this up, didn't get a chance to, but now I'm going to. We see a bracer coming from the Rizzler on the Fafnir. What are your takes on the bracer start?
I mean, I'm not completely fond of it as a start. Bracer as a relic, I do really like. I think it's extremely underutilized, especially when it's upgraded, acting like a sentry ward. You put that around a Fire Giant Pit, a Gold Fury, you got a ward that's pretty hard to destroy, as well as that little power field. It gives you a really good engage. That being said, I would have liked to see something like a Magic Shell or a... Wow, Meditation Cloak, that's the one. I almost had me questioning all my... forgetting that. But I think a more traditional relic might have been able to help save him in that last fight.
I definitely agree with you there. He did get away with absolute larceny on the first one, though. And speaking of that, off to the chase, getting in trouble, and there comes the hovering death, and death will come. Another kill comes to Akamaru, and that's gonna force the Riz under tower.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about in our pre-game picks and bans, seeing Akamaru spread around the map, getting the early kills and pressure as this Thanatos. And I mean, it's like we predicted, Pesnews pretty low, but Akamaru turning the other way shouldn't be a problem. And Oler still has beads up, could maybe see him becoming a target in the mid lane. Obviously, no CC immunity, always content to jump in aggressive to try to find that axe. So Hey 901 definitely is going to have to be a little more cautious than last game than he was with the Chronos. Chronos got a pretty big get out jail free card, but this Oler going to be a lot more mechanic intensive.
It's going to be a little bit different, hoping for a quick, like, I don't know, beads, axe, kind of full combo thing. But even that's only just going to buy you time. I don't think he's going to have the damage just yet to be able to kill Akamaru on the stand, especially with the lead he's given himself.
Yeah, it definitely should be interesting to see how that lead is translated too. I mean, Thanatos ahead of the scary sight. Thanatos not close enough for the 4th kill. It's going to go to Freya. Aurora Game's going to continue this on a Pesnews. They are.
Pesnews, LuneyToons is in trouble. Shell is going to be good. Not able to get on the horse fast enough though. Pesnews is down. But the Riz is looking for LuneyToons. Goes into the dragon form. Still alive though, but finally falls. Does go to the Fafnir, but the Fafnir himself is going to go once again to Akamaru, who is 5-0 right now. Absolutely going off on this Thanatos. But Blink into the back! Akamaru for the triple kill on the Thanatos! He is going off!
I mean, maybe Akamaru belongs in the godlike division. Some insane jungler place. 6 kills, 6 minutes in, level 8. The Thanatos can't be stopped. You thought he was scary on the Dodge E. Just wait till he gets on the God of Death, the Man of Death himself. Really strong showing, and now War Games comfortably in the lead, over 1,000 gold up already. This is a great start.
I don't know if you can ask for a better start. This is as good as you want. You want your Thana going off early, completely getting a super early lead, and this is as good of an early lead as you can really ask for. So Akamaru doing exactly what you're hoping your Thanatos will do.
Yeah, I mean, performing exactly what the god's supposed to. Good whoop, gonna keep Chiron away, and the Poseidon gonna turn back. Doesn't want to try to chase down the kill. If I'm LuneyToons, I would just walk away from that gold buff. I'm like going to, and with Lancelot on the way over, could be in trouble, but luckily Gymkhana is going to be on the purple buff, providing some backup. Now War Games, we see the pace slow down a little bit. They're just waiting for Akamaru to find his next victim.
I think that's it, and the ultimate is up, so time is really all on Akamaru's hands right now, whether he's looking for Another one, but is gonna play. Oh, axe hit, very nice. Is gonna come out a very nice sight though. Will secure a little bit more health. Has to go into the hovering death. Gets the land back on, and kill off of Hay is gonna be claimed by Gymkhana on the Atlas.
Yeah, really good kill there, unfortunately. Now Akamara does have an assist, so the perfect stat line is ruined. Now looking towards the Gold Fury, this is what we would have loved to see game one. Some early objective pressure.
Chiron's aware. Kraken is good! And Kraken will kill Akamaru. A massive bounty coming up for the Poseidon.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the greatest trades you're going to see all day. Kraken for the Gold Fury to kill and a shutdown onto a 6-kill jungler. Very unfortunate for the captains that Chiron isn't able to get drafted here. Really, really good play from Poseidon. She's set up this team well. Now is trying to lock down LuneyToons. Gets away though before he can be crippled.
Hammer just a little off the mark, and that's going to be all she wrote by the looks of it. Going to have to retreat back into the jungle, but War Games decides that they're not done. Looking to step up a little bit. Find a nice little knock up, but will be much now on the chase down is Gymkhana. Might be taking a little bit more Nikachu, but does find a little bit of assistance from Akamaru. Claims one. Might be going back in. Here comes Hovering Death looking for the execute. It's a little bit off the mark though. Misses the scythe as well, and that's going to be a jump out from the Riz. Is going to secure his life, and we'll get to walk back to his tower safe and sound without dying again to Akamaru.
The first rare misplay comes down from the Hovering Death a little bit early. Very unfortunate, not able to land that kill, and now Fafnir gets to stay alive because of it. Now Valentine's Day, they've done a decent job responding off the back of that. Poseidon, Kraken, oh my gosh, the words are escaping me. A really good steal. And now the Fafnir able to get away. Now War Games, they're down in gold. I don't even know how that happened.
I think it all just comes off that one death from Akamaru giving a bunch of gold into the pocket of Chiron. I think that's going to be one of the biggest ones, and then coming off as well, the gold as well will probably pay a little bit of help towards V-Day as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit. Maybe objectives are important for gold. But now, there's not much pressure on the map. I mean, we talked a lot about Thanatos early game, how aggressive he likes to get. It's the same case for Lancelot. But now the question is, where do these teams go? They're both pretty close line together. DarkeFoxWolf trying to get back under tower. Gymkhana might be in trouble with Lancelot showing up. Tanky enough to just walk away, though. Prophetic Cloak, already giving a bunch of protection over to Atlas.
Definitely, and then going towards the duo, saying we see a little bit of a solo kill. LuneyToons is going to grab the kill off Chiron, so that's going to send him back to base and get a little bit of pressure on that tower. Take a few bastions, if you will. Talking about bastions as well, another one falling in mid from Akamaru is going to stay around just in case anything happens, but I think he's going to look to get that farm game going on and wait for his opportunity to strike. Looking towards solo, a little bit of aggression coming out from SwagMaster. Could have said Voulg under tower, but he's gonna back it on up.
Yeah, he is. Now, I know we talked pretty early last game about builds and not seeing anything weird from him. I think it's really the same case this game. We've seen in these scouting grounds there have been a lot of different build paths, a lot of different playstyles. Freya getting dove on the left, though, might need to build some defense because she is dropping low, but Lancelot goes the wrong way. Oh no.
And also no response as well. Manaless off of Pesny, so isn't going to be able to make much of a response after that as well. Does keep his life and gets under tower. LuneyToons is looking at Akamaru changing his course into mid lane. Hovering Death looking for it, and Hovering Death is good. Will secure off Hey 901, but the Riz spots him out, finds a nice little hammer stun, but nothing else going to come off that. Going towards Bede's going to get popped as well, so he's going to look to back up off of Chiron, but LuneyToons looking for a little bit is going to be joined up by Akamaru sees, but there's the Kraken! One more to do it! Akamaru gets gamed on, and Chiron picks up the kill.
I mean, doesn't have the beads, doesn't have a life either. Great turnaround from Chiron. I was just wondering to myself, is it going to happen again? 100 to 0's Oler in mid and gets 50 to 0 the second he steps into duo
Woo!
room.
He was
What a
not
turnaround.
expecting that.
I don't think we were either.
Honestly, no, but I'm so glad it happened. As well, finding trouble in the jungle is Jim Connor, but we'll be able to get dashed away. But Axe Stun will be good from Hey 901. Gets jumped on again by the Riz. And is going to get one more do it. Pest News cleans up the kill. And the Lancelot is now on the board.
Yeah, now we're seeing a great response from Valentine's Day. They got a slight gold lead. Now they're down about another 400. But I was worried initially with that Thanatos, but it doesn't seem to have dissuaded the Chaos side team. That being said, though, I don't know if this is the fight. Oler misses the axe. This could be really bad for 901. LuneyToons moving over. Oh, gonna back off, though. DarkeFoxWolf now in trouble.
Dark Fox does manage to get out. Pest News takes a little bit of damage, but we'll be okay in the jungle for now.
Oh, LuneyToons
as well.
Okay.
LuneyToons can't say the same for the Freya. Will get sent back to base. Chiron going to be picking up that kill on the back pocket. So grouping around gold is Valentine's Day. Not pulled quite yet, but Wargames is also around. Has a few representatives of their own.
Yeah, probably smart not to try for it, but now... Okay, walking away from the team fight too, probably smart from both teams. Not much damage being output there. And Valentine's Day look like they're focused on the Gold Fury, but they're all going to go ahead and back up, maybe sensing Wargames has a really strong presence here. Going to attempt to go somewhere else on the map. Maybe they're headed over to Pyromancer?
There is a good chance of the... Nah, it doesn't quite look like it. It looks like left side, that Gold Fury is still the priority from what everyone's looking at now. A good chunk of Valentine's Day showing up the mid to left side of the map. Yeah.
And I mean, the ward coverage, too, from Wargames over on that Gold Fury is just monumental. We got it deep into the enemy jungle. Now Atlas lands a small pull that does about 20 damage onto the Fafnir. But now, yeah, a little bit more stalling. Both teams don't really seem too committed to going for these big objectives, and I see why. The teams are really even right now. There is a massive chance at steal from both sides, regardless of how good a secure that crack is.
Yeah, definitely with that. SwagMaster finding himself in a little bit of trouble. Will get forced out onto the horsey right on the tower, and he's gonna go be fine. Gonna quickly look back, see what's going on, but over in duo, it's looking like LuneyToons is getting looked at, but Akamaru is coming up into Hovering Death is gonna get looked at. Might be looking for Pest News here. And is going to find a double kill off that ultimate. Another big kill for Akamaru. Going to find himself at 10-2 on this Thanatos at 15 minutes. Gold Fury is looked at immediately after that. The Primal, to be exact. So might be dropping pretty soon for Wargames. Valentine's Day does know what's going on, and Wargames will secure it off.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good call not to try and engage there. Obviously, Primal Fury really important in taking down more neutral jungle objectives. That being said, if you contest there and you die, it's almost certainly Tier 1 towers off the map. Speaking of Tier 1 towers, I know I mentioned them a lot last game, but it's one of the things that very nearly held Wargames back from their win. They had to spend a lot of time regaining ground after not being aggressive enough early. Now they have another small, maybe moral lead, not in gold. I'd like to see some bigger impact towards it. Persephone comes out, doesn't secure Pyro though.
It is going to be the ultimate drop off by the Riz. Going to be going in, Hovering Death is going to claim out Voulg. As he looks to continue on, Sight's going to be good. SwagMaster's going to claim out Pest News though, as the Riz is going to get dropped once again by Akamaru. Hey also is in danger. Still getting chased up Akamaru. Blink will be good, and another triple kill added to the pocket of Akamaru.
Yeah, and another good triple from Akamaru. The Thanatos this game, he can't be stopped. Good Hovering Death, and really, really patient going into that fight. Was worried he was going to step up too early and just get blown up, but no. Great discipline. Now Wargames again have a small lead. The Tier 1 falls in left, exactly what I wanted to see. Now, I'd like to see them probably group up. They still have a lead. Big whoop, though. Chiron dropping so low.
Drops the Aegis. There's the Valkyrie's Discretion is going to be popped. One more round, they do it, but lands. Kraken just off the mark, but the last shot will finish him off. LuneyToons gets the salt.
Yeah, and that's a really good solo for the Freya, and especially now that Poseidon off the map, his Aegis gone for 2.5 minutes, and no Kraken. This is a really big opportunity for Wargames to spread themselves around the map and find some more early leads. There's not a single god in this game that can contest better than that Poseidon King. He's a huge deterrent to aggressive plays. That off the board, you think they're going to have a little bit of freedom to move around as they want.
Yeah, very much so. Really good that they can also, if they want to, try to pressure another lane. If LuneyToons wants to make the rotation, well, off to back, though, finish off that Spear of the Magus and into that that lifesteal tree. So, going to be looking to keep that health bar healed up with a little bit more power, too, for it. But a little bit of poke coming off from Hey901 DarkFox, but won't be much else after that.
Yeah, I mean, not too much, and now we're going to see a little bit of grouping in mid. The 3v3 contestants are all there. Are they trying to spot out this Kakolan in the jungle? Frey and Thanatos both moving in could be really dangerous for Voulg. Decent amount of defense on the line, though. I don't think they're too eager to try it. Pest News might be a different. Oh, we're going to see another fight break out. Poseidon split pushing in left. This gives an opening to Wargames.
Definitely, with that Poseidon out of the picture, they can do all they want here. With this fight, gonna find a little bit of damage off the Pest News, forces out the dash, whoop on the Voulg. We'll get a few extra pulse shots as well from LuneyToons, forces them on the tower. Onto the other side, though, is in trouble. No death just yet. Hovering Death is good, but misses the mark just as the jump comes off. Hey901, so he heals himself on the tower. Altered off by DarkFox is gonna spawn in a few. Nothing too yet, though. Few more shots from the pulse is good off LuneyToons. Nothing to security kills quite yet, though, and with that, it looks like that's just going to be a push out, and they might be looking to pick up this fire giant, possibly.
Yeah, it definitely should be their next project here. I mean, by getting this, they're allowing Poseidon to take that tier 2 tower. At this stage in the game, I think it's worth it. It's 20 minutes in, 5-man groupings are going to start soon. Can they secure it, though? They can.
They can and they will. Wargame secures it, and next thing they know, green light is on. They are running down, and Hey901 is the first victim to fall to SwagMaster, and that does not look like that will be all. The Riz goes into the ultimate, looking for the jump out. Doesn't look like he might get it, though, as Hovering Death is on the way, and onto the menu is the Riz, and he's gonna fall once again to Akamaru. 14th kill on the board for the Thanatos. As this T2 in mid is being looked at next. Voulg spots him out, is going to try and clear up the wave a little bit. And gets them off of the T2 just for now, but into the back is SwagMaster. Going to find a little bit of damage on the Chiron. And Pest News coming out. The Kraken is coming out as well. Doesn't find any prisoners just yet. Jump in by 901. But 901 should have maybe not jumped in. Finding him low. SwagMaster finally cleans him up. And Pest News coming into the back to the aid of the rest of his team. Gonna try and find some damage on the SwagMaster. Akamaru into the Hovering Death once again. Finding out Voulg. That's a double kill for the Thanatos.
Wow. I mean, there's nothing more to say than wow, really good turnaround from Wargames. Unfortunately, though, they lost their Freya, their ADC. It's going to really limit their capacity to go around the map here. Falling back to Gold Fury is smart, though, but I think getting Gold Fury, backing, and waiting to do another push is definitely the smart play. They still have about 2 to 3 minutes on their Fire Giant, though. They definitely got time.
They definitely have all the time in the world to go back, collect any extra items they can, you know, try to extend the lead to the best they possibly can, and build upon that. They've done a great job so far, 23-8 in the kill department for Wargames, so looking strong so far, and hopefully they're going to be able to continue the push that they've established right now, especially with a 16-2 Thanatos.
Yeah, I mean, it's a god that is often thought about an early game god, does a lot early, can tend to fall off late game. Given the level that Akamaru is playing at right now and just how in front of everyone he is, the Thanatos is going to keep getting scarier and scarier until everybody's full build, level 20. Oh, great blink away from Voulg. That definitely could have saved his life.
Definitely. Both Bastions get knocked down in solo, so looking at that T2 and solo might be next on the list. As War Games pushing down the right side, and this tower should fall pretty quickly if I say so myself. And what do you know, there it goes. Pest Games is going to get forced out by SwagMaster as LuneyToons going down the right side T2 all by his limits himself. Team in the jungle close by, but alas, ultimate goes in as the Rizz is going to be forced into the dragon form. Going to get some damage off onto SwagMaster. As a little bit of damage with DarkFox. DarkFox getting pretty isolated though, and gonna be a little bit of trouble. Gets the dash out, but Voulg senses her out. Super low, but Akamaru comes to the rescue. Is gonna take out one, make that two. Hovering death is good. 901, make it three. One more off for that, make it four. Quadra kill for Akamaru. Maybe looking for one more. On the do it. He is so close. Roof is good. One more. Doesn't get it though. It's absolutely robbed by LuneyToons.
Oh, that's highway robbery.
That is
oh my gosh. Akamaru, I am so sorry. Oh wow.
That is an F6 angle, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely robbed of the penta from LuneyToons. Unfortunate. What? A deicide is a deicide.
Oh, that's true. Throwing it aside at Looney there in frustration. Oh, that's tragic. I mean, still a great play by Akamaru. Still a great play by Looney. I'm sure they weren't even thinking about the penta there. Just more focused, getting the deicide. Getting the win is more important. I mean, in Scouting Grounds, you want to show off what you got. And LuneyToons just adding another kill to the column.
I mean, come on. He could have showed off the penta. What more do you want? It is what it is, though, as unfortunately, gonna have to settle for just a quadra. But on the bright side,
still incredible.
Does bring him to 20-2. So, you know, pretty casual, pretty solid game by Akamaru so far. But you know, plenty of room for another penta. You know.
Hey, definitely is. Penta ends it, but even after all the Akamaru kill craziness, War Games, they're still in a really good spot. They got the Fenyx down. Unfortunately, it's not the left side. I think we talked about it in Game 1, getting the left side Fenyx. Pulls him away from the Fire Giant a little bit. Now, luckily, Valentine's Day don't have to worry about that. Kulkin can be close enough to stop the minions and still rotate over in time. Fire Giant dropping low, though, built a frenzy. What's the engage going to be from Valentine's Day?
Oh, here it goes. It's super low, but lots of both teams are around. Akamaru gets his godlike kill. That's another one down. That's especially Chiron. Voulg getting pushed out. Whoop is going to be good on the Voulg. One more on the do it. Does get claimed up by LuneyToons. Akamaru in the back is still swinging. The Rizz is next on the list. Is getting walked at by Akamaru. He is so fast. The Rizz can't even get away. Double kill for Akamaru. And what do you say about that? 4 down. Lots of time. And it looks like they're just going to step it on back. Get a T2 in mid.
I mean, and I know I said this. Game number 1. In the flip scenario, but this should be the game here from War Games. I mean, Fenyx is going down fast. You got a full few seconds on Chiron, but it's a 5v2 going into this Titan. As they concentrate, the damage should be over.
Loop on one, so that's going to take Chiron out for a little bit, but SwagMaster taking a ton of damage from the Titan here. Is going to fall eventually to Chiron. About 45% right now on this Titan, but it's not going to be good enough. Hey, 901 secures off DarkFox, and that's going to send War Games on the retreat. Getting jumped in, coming up by 901, just misses the axe on Akamaru. but into the back. Gymkhana is in trouble. Valentine's Day is completely surrounding the Atlas.
Okay, you know, maybe I'm just gonna shut my mouth when teams are going into the Titan room from now on. I mean, maybe my perspective is off. I thought the Titan was gonna fall a lot faster. A really slow burn, though. I mean, if nothing else, Fire Giant's off the board for Valentine's Day. Akamaru's in the air looking for
Akamaru has gotten a little bit. It finds off the easy pick onto Chiron, but isn't gonna go unpunished as Hey901 claims up Akamaru. The godlike had to end at some point, so there it is. And LuneyToons claims up 901 in revenge. Now might have gotten himself into a little bit of trouble as the Riz is completely popping him, but finally gets the pulse off. Might be able to turn it back. Here comes Pest. But Pest finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Riz finds himself another one, and Pest finds himself getting dunked as well. Double kill from LuneyToons on the complete turnaround off of the Freya.
Yeah, and now they just have free reign over the map. Kakolin forced to be back there on the right side defending that Fenyx. They get this Primal Fury easy, and in my opinion, left tier 2, and you head straight to Pyromancer. A Fenyx call could be risky. They're gonna go for it in mid. It'll be at least a 2v3 here, because Freya's not with them. Oh yeah, they're gonna try for this right Fenyx. It's gonna be tough. They don't have great burn.
Yeah, and this is what makes it a little bit interesting, because they don't exactly have the tower burn unless they somehow can get Dark and hit the Fenyx, but looking like that might be a pretty tall order, so it does opt to back it up. Go look at Pyro. Pyro goes down, no big deal, and they're going to regroup and maybe look at a push as 5.
Yeah, and definitely smart to get the Pyro. I mean, that's just going to help their burn. We saw it on the Titan. Thankfully, didn't see it on the Fenyx. I think that would have been a misplay. But getting that 1,000 true damage against structures is really, really valuable. I think some people still underestimating just how nice that bomb is to have, especially when your team is lacking a traditional ADC like this Oler, who's able to really smack structures for a lot. Uh-oh, but now War Games is separated. This could be really costly for him.
Yeah, if someone gets picked here from War Games... Oh, and speaking of that, I shouldn't have said it! Kraken goes up, and he goes down! Akamaru finds one on Chiron, covering death. We'll find another. Down goes 901. And fight continues as well. Breaking out, War Games being completely surrounded. DarkeFoxWolf does pick up Pest News, though. Falling down, Voulg picks up Akamaru. Thanatos is off, but it's just Voulg by himself. Not going to be able to take off 3 by himself, unfortunately. Is going to get chased, but is keeping it up. Still living right now, but is going to get cut off by Gymkhana. Is going to opt for the TP to try and get himself out of here, and will find himself out. Not able to CC him out of the TP, so gets to live on, but possibly at the expense of the right side.
Yeah, it's going to be another close one. They don't have great burn, but that being said, with only Voulg alive, I don't know if they have enough damage to really stop them. As long as they clear the minions out, Persephone can't hit it. Oh.
It's still taking a while. Chiron finds himself. There's the Whirlpool. Good. If he can find a Kraken angle, might be something here. Doesn't actually have the Kraken just yet, so not at that yet. But Voulg goes for the ultimate, knocks up Gymkhana, is going to find the transformation, dashes in looking for the stun on Kana, but instead finds SwagMaster. SwagMaster forced into the horse. Persephone comes out, is going to stun out Chiron. Going to stop that for a little bit. Gymkhana decides to distract the rest of Valentine's Day, is going to sack for the squad, but isn't going to sack Hey901. DarkFox is in trouble, but doesn't matter. LuneyToons puts him out, and then Pest News gets down as well, making a double for the Freya.
And that is a gross amount of damage coming from the Freya. 3 shots Pest News, 2 shots Hey901. And I mean, if anything, the failed Fenyx push shows War Games they need LuneyToons to be alive. There's no way they're going to be able to end the game without Freya there, so hopefully going to be a little bit better in protecting them next time. I mean, we saw Valentine's Day had a really good start to open that fight, lost it, and then had a good chase down at the Fenyx again. Valentine now, can they steal it? No, they cannot. War Games gets it.
Does not. Goes the War Games, no big deal off that, so get the EFG. There goes the hovering death. Is going to be looking on top of Voulg. One more ought to do it. LuneyToons claims one, and Akamaru finds the kill he was looking for. That's going to be another 2 down.
Yeah, and it's going to be a 5v3 really quick. I mean, this is another tricky spot. It's going to be a 4v3 on the Fenyx, with Atlas still walking back up. If they have the health bars, I would say go for it, but Akamaru in particular is going to have to be really careful about his engage. Chiron and Hey901 can really get him, but Hey901 going to be forced out early.
Definitely. He does still have the blink, so he does have the chance to go for a blink scythe kind of angle here if he so desires. Minions are pushing it now. A very nice whip will put this. Pest takes a whole whop of damage. Is going to get sent all the way back. Fenyx finally goes down.
There you go, one scythe and he's back to full HP, kind of like you said.
That's all I'm saying.
Fenyx now, and now it's going to be another 5v4. They did a good job getting the Fenyxes down, but Big Lancelot ult can spell the initiation here.
Could be off to the horse. SwagMaster goes. Going to be running it down on Pest News. Pest News gets triumphed by the horse and is going to get sent back. Not looking to push any further, might look towards the T2 on left. Gonna take this one a little slow off to the side. Is Chiron gonna get the Whirlpool for a little bit of damage, but isn't gonna be enough to confirm anything just yet. Only 2 of Valentine's Day to defend right now, and that T2 will fall no problem. Maybe looking to opt for this Oni Fury.
Yeah, definitely should, and I think this is a smart call. I think it's like last time they may have had a chance to end, but I said it last game on Valentine's Day, and I'll say it again here. I always like a team playing safer as opposed to risky. It may not pay off long term, but more importantly, they have time now. Valentine's Day are pushed against the wall. They are nearly 18,000 gold down. This gives Wargames time to back. They push out minions. I don't know if I would honestly even considering pushing up any further until the Fire Giant. FG and Fenyx is going to respawn at the same time. It's Enhanced Fire Giant too. It could very well spell the end.
It's a very tough scenario right now if you're Valentine's Day, because it honestly feels like there's not a whole lot you can do. What it feels like your con is you only kill Akamaru if you get the Kraken off on him. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that Akamaru really has to worry about at this point, because it feels like there's not a whole lot that's really stopping his train. So
yeah, I mean, and it's really hard to slow down any role that's ahead, especially a jungler that just found that good of a groove early game. Never really let it up, and looking at the build too, I mean, Hidden Blade, Erendite, Heartseeker, you really don't need anything more on a god like Thanatos. We're not waiting for the Fire Giant though. Oni Wave's distracting Poseidon and right. They're looking for this final Fenyx, and they should be able to get it once they group up.
Definitely should fall, no big deal. Once Freya joins up on the left-hand side, this Fenyx should just melt like butter, basically. Off to the horse, SwagMaster goes. We'll go immediately into the back line. Following suit, though, is going to be the Riz. Goes up into the dragon form, but isn't going to find too much. Ultimate dropped off by Gymkhana. It's going to find a little bit, but does end up getting pushed out of that left-hand side Fenyx. Gonna look to regroup as they go back in, see if they can't capture this. As Raygoza is melting good, but there comes the crack, and DarkeFoxWolf goes down. LuneyToons takes out 901, and off that, the Riz is getting completely pummeled off by Swag. Valkyrie's discretion, looking for Voulg, isn't gonna find it. Goes a little bit too deep. News is knocking down the ADC. And that means that the Wargames might have to back up a little bit. They no longer have that damage on that objective. Does pop up that shell, and they're going to have to force the retreat there. Another siege completely thwarted by Valentine's Day.
Almost thwarted by themselves, and this is becoming a really dangerous theme. That's like the third one this set where we've seen a really strong Fenyx push. And unfortunately, somebody goes too far. LuneyToons wanted the kill, and to their credit, nearly got it, but paying for the life. We've already seen Wargames don't have much objective burn outside of that Freya, so unfortunately, I mean, there's nothing else they can do on that push. That is gonna spell the end of it. Now it gives Valentine's Day a short break to try and push waves out because they know they can't afford to go for Fire Giant.
Definitely. Akamaru alone into the jungle is going to get completely picked off by Pestus and Voulg, taking out the Thanatos. A fantastic pick coming up from Valentine's Day. Might be able to get a little bit of a capitalization off this, as they are now looking at Gymkhana. Gets the dash out and regrouped around that mana camp right now. Looking for maybe a pick off the Swagmaster, but are going to regroup closer to the Fire Giant and might force the issue there. No Thanatos means it's a little bit harder for them to get a pick off here onto any of the V-Day boys.
Yeah, definitely going to be difficult. And now Fire Giant has respawned. War Games, they're in a good position here. If I'm them, I'm just protecting LuneyToons. I wouldn't even worry about aggressing onto this fight. If the Freya dies, your entire push is over. You got to keep the Freya alive at all cost. We're starting to burn Pyro. They got good ward vision too. Like, the positioning is now they know Poseidon's back there too. This could be the opening they're looking for.
They choose the opening to pick up that Fire Giant. Are going to fully commit to this burn. Frenzy is popped. Voulg spots it out though. So is Hey901 on the prowl. Maybe looking for a steal potential here. But this thing melts fast. War Games confirms off the Fire Giant.
Pest News falls as well. Now Voulg gonna follow up. War Games now in a 5v3. But Valentine's Day, they still got a chance. The health bar in Gymkhana is low. They're really gonna have to rely on Swagmaster to go tank this bird.
Yeah, Swagmaster is going to be the dive at the start. Kraken gets popped, pulled off by Chiron. Is gonna find a little bit of damage. Akamaru does get poked out a little bit of 901, but Akamaru turns and takes out the Riz. Riz is down. Fenyx spawns up, but is going to get taken down. No big deal. Hovering Death is used, but isn't going to find too much. Might be looking at the Titan once again from War Games. Valkyrie's Discretion does get used. Claims up. Hey 901. Another kill added to LuneyToons' pocket. And this Titan is falling fast and will be presented to go down, and War Games will be taking Game 3 in a very convincing fashion.
Yeah, convincing. I mean, albeit may have taken longer than it should have, but in the end, it's a really clean win. They do what they needed to do, and I know we talked a lot about last game was really back and forth before they pulled out the win. They looked pretty in control all game. I was getting really worried it would slip away from them with a couple missed pushes, but at the end of the day, a 30 kill Thanatos. I mean,
well, almost.
Okay, sorry. Well, if they got the pentakill, a 30 kill Thanatos.
Yeah.
Gotta go back.
If it wasn't for that pesky LuneyToons Freya, would have had the pentakill, but it's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Worth it in the end. I think, no, Akamaru, it would have gone to their head, would have made cocky plays.
Yeah, it's really just about humbling your jungler, right?
I gotta say, I do love that part. But even with all the joking around, 50,000 player damage from the Freya, 50,000 from the jungler as well. Not to take anything away from the rest of the War Games team, but those two absolutely thundered through that game.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not look at anything but the 29 and 5 Thana or even the 14 and 6 Freya. Very, very strong stat lines for both players in a game like that. So hats off to the War Games team, and also a very well played set as well for Valentine's Day too. Really taking it to him. Had a few nice good picks on onto Akamaru into the jungle, but unfortunately wasn't able to be in a position to capitalize. So
yeah, I mean, Valentine's Day put into a rough position. That being said, I still think they played well. I definitely don't think the kill death even covers it. They were able to keep their Phoenixes alive on a lot of pushes. We saw them nearly take back a little bit of pressure towards the end, battling throughout the mid game. Unfortunate for them at the end of the day, but not a horrible showing. I mean, War Games were just on it. I don't think there was any way any team was taking them down there.
I agree fully.
Ooh, I do like being agreed with. That sounds nice.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I think that is about gonna wrap it up from us, though. War Games takes that set of the SDL Scouting Grounds. I think that should do it for today, but there's still a few more days of scouting grounds being open. If you're not already involved with the season, make sure you join the Discord. Signups are closed, but there's still a lot more community events and community fun going on here. But I think that will do it for us. I've been Kingfisher casting with Zexous, and we had Oath on the camera tonight. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the continuation of the Scouting Ground games.